Hey, happy Friday, everybody. It is Friday. We're about to have a great weekend. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you guys have a great day today. Thank you for joining me. I am Thomas Jason Anderson. This is Off Ramp Politics, your place to come to get the truth, to get to be able to see what is going to happen in the future without any stress, without any type of angst, because we called it. And I want to celebrate now. Okay. Look, when you're starting off a new platform, okay, you can go in all types of different directions. This platform, what I decided to do from the beginning is I said, hey, I'm not going to go after the clickbait. I'm not going to take a side. I'm not going to permanently join up with the Republicans or the Democrats. I'm not going to permanently join up with the communists or the free market capitalists. I decided from the jump, I said, hey, I want to make a platform that uses my experience and my research and my ability to see below the surface and to see further ahead into a timeline politically, to share with the world a vision of a world that can exist without us having to be at each other's throats every day, arguing and fighting all the time. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that, guys. We're at a time now where there's so much knowledge and information that we can all get along and we can all uh, move forward in our lives with having disagreements. It's okay to disagree. There's so much information out here and there's so many perspectives to take. There are so many things that you can think, right? That it's okay if you're different a little. It's okay if you don't support Trump or you do. None of that stuff matters. Okay. It doesn't matter. We have to be able to have enough strength and internal fortitude within ourselves and enough wisdom and enough love and kindness to be able to allow others to be themselves without us personally getting offended by it. Okay. So, in doing that, this Iran situation popped up. And here, over here, you guys can look back at the videos. I could have easily jumped on the bandwagon of all these people who hate Trump, the Pope, Tucker Carlson, everybody, all these people attacking Trump, attacking Trump. I could have done that. This is a new platform. I could have decided, you know what? Let me get some clickbait. Let me get some followers off of bashing Trump. And I could have done that. That would have been really easy. I'm not a Trump supporter. You can go back and look. I've never been a Trump supporter. It's not that I have something against Trump. It's just that I don't support any politician. I'm more in line with I support the politician on an issue if they're in line on that issue with me. And that's it. That's as far as my support goes. It's on those specific issues. Now, if that politician is on another issue and they're doing the opposite of what I like, well, I'm going to go after them. I'm going to speak my mind and say, hey, this is wrong. Right. So when looking at this Iran situation, I said, I could go for the clicks. I could go for the Trump hate. It would be easy. I said, but what I should do, though, is be true to the platform and do my research, talk to some people and get to the bottom of what's going on here and give my viewers and my listeners and everyone who's on board right now. Thank you again for all the support, to give you guys a piece of the truth through an off ramp perspective to help you guys get off of the log jam, the traffic jam that was the Iran debate. Because think back on what was happening with Iran. The debate was about, Trump portraying himself as Jesus and the Pope saying that this is any kind of war is bad, that the only way to live in the world is peace, peace, peace. No one should anyone who fights is with Satan. I mean, just the Pope, just embarrassing. Just a child. Like the Pope's argument was like a fifth grade student's argument. Okay. Just shameful. And so that's what everyone's been caught up in, right? Is arguing a bunch of bullshit, basically. And so I said, hey, let's get off of this highway of bullshit and let's take an off ramp to some logical, factual content that can actually help people see through the madness and the chaos, right? And that led me to, in this one instance with Iran, I supported President Trump wholeheartedly. And go back in the videos, wholeheartedly. And it's important for me to bring this up that I was right, because this is a big international issue. Look, it's not so many, there aren't so many times in life when you guys who are my subscribers and have been following me, thank you very much. You guys have believed in me. It isn't, you don't come across people in the media space who on their own can grab on to an international issue like the Iranian issue, which will be in history books for the next 500,000 years, okay? The next 1,000 years. People will look back on this and this will be in the history books, okay? It's rare that you can get somebody in the media space like myself who will jump in there and put my entire platform on the line, my entire reputation on the line, and support President Trump on this situation in Iran, which everyone was saying, you don't do it. He's doing wrong. He's a dummy. He's an idiot. I said, no. If you go back to my coverage, go back to everything I've written on offramppolitics.com, you will see, if you read it all, going back since this thing started, it will all make sense. You'll see why the peace today in Iran, why it's happening. Okay, this is all due to President Trump. He had the vision 100% to sacrifice his own political well-being in the face of a midterm election to do what was right, to bring peace to a region that hasn't seen peace in decades. So many previous presidents who had better positioning than Trump over this Iranian regime didn't dare fix the problem. Trump did it, and he did it with everything on the line. He was at the poker table on this, and he went all in, baby. I'm sorry, but that takes guts, especially when his entire base attacked him. Look, you guys can hate Trump all you want. You guys can say he's a fool. You can say whatever you want about the man, but you have to give him credit here. You have to admit that finally there is peace in a part of the world that hasn't seen it in so long. And finally, that part of the world has a path towards a much brighter future and not the death and destruction path that they were on. And President Trump single-handedly did it himself. The Europeans opposed him. Everyone opposed him. His own countrymen, people within his own administration were opposing him. Give this man credit. You can hate him all you want. You have to give him credit on this. Live in reality. It's better to accept reality here. It's better to accept that you were wrong if you were judging Trump on this and calling him whatever names you were calling and claiming all these things were going to happen. Oh, he's going to cause nuclear war. Idiots. You see, it didn't happen. Where's the nuclear war at that everybody wanted to happen? Oh, the Chinese are going to give the Iranians these hypersonic missiles and they're going to take out every single American warship in the ocean. America is collapsing now. All this crap that people were throwing out there attacking this man, President Trump saw through it all and actually did what was right, stuck to his guns. Go back to offramppolitics.com and you will see I've written extensively on political courage and how I kept saying our leadership problem is we don't have people who can build up inside of themselves enough political courage to do the right thing in the face of everybody telling them you can't do it. We don't have enough of that. So we need more of that. Hate on Trump if you want, but what he just did, every politician should use as an example in America to follow what he did. He has laid the groundwork, the framework for a path going forward, even in American politics now. And so all of a sudden, what looked like would be a disaster in the November elections for Trump, all of a sudden, because of this situation in Iran, November now starting to look kind of good. That's right. Why? Because Oil prices are down. And guess what? We are now, the US dollar, the petrodollar, is now king. China is scrambling. They're in trouble. They're trying to bring all these countries into them to convince them to go have some kind of conflict with us now. Because that's what the Chinese do, right? That's how they win. The way they win is they find a bunch of puppets like the Iranian regime and they give them weapons and they have them go do crazy stuff, right? And then when countries defend themselves against that, then China goes, look, you're a warmonger. But it's China the whole time. So now they're trying to figure out their next few stunts that they want to do. But it's like, hey, the Pope needs to step in now and tell the Chinese, slow down. Stop arming psychotic people and throughout the world. Stop trying to foment violence just because you're greedy. And that's the issue here, okay? And go back, and I'll say it again. What we're suffering from in the United States and globally is a disease of greed. Greed is driving everybody off a cliff right now. It just is. It's all greed. And so when you look at the Iran situation, I've said it before, that was a greed situation. That's a situation where nations like China and others saw an opportunity to be able to supply their nations with cheap energy forever if they can just prop up a crazy regime that will brutalize their people so that their people won't request that they get fairly compensated for the oil resources being shipped out to China. That's all that was. That's all this is. Literally, Chinese people, the Chinese government, the CCP, they did a calculation and they said, hey, it's to our benefit to create chaos with the Iranian people. It's to our benefit to prop up murderers over there, to murder those people wholesale, because by doing that, we can get cheap oil forever. That's been the plan. It's been that simple. And other people jumped on the bandwagon. European nations were all in on that. They were all in. Yeah. Let's keep arming the psycho lunatics and make sure they keep beating down their own people so we can keep stealing their oil. That's what this was. That's what's been going on. And what I've been saying from the beginning, and this is why I supported President Trump, is that when you have a situation like that, where nations in Europe and China are propping up murderers and criminals in order to steal oil, there are other things that come into play in that. And what comes into play in that is other criminal organizations get involved. Now, human trafficking is involved, weapons smuggling, gold smuggling, money laundering, you name it. Basically, every single criminal body that had an international footprint had a place in Iran. That was like a central headquarters for them to be able to pump money in and out of there that can't be tracked in order to cause chaos around the world so that they could make money. Greed, pure greed. That's what this has been. And so what did the Chinese try to do and what did the European nations try to do to distract everyone from that reality? They made it about the Jews. That's what they did. They ran Tucker Carlson and other right-wing people out there saying, oh, the Jews are bad, the Jews are bad. And they made everyone look at this situation like, oh, this is Iran versus the Jews. When they weren't realizing, no one realized that the Iranian regime, that's not a real religion. I'm sorry. Those guys are nothing but monsters. They don't believe in God. They are greedy monsters, murderers, people who wreak havoc all around the world for money. That's who they are. So this idea that it was the good Iranian Muslim guys against the evil Jews was a made up story. A made up story. It's like sad too. Like, why would someone want to make that story up? Greed. They were paid to make it up because China needed that to be the argument. The European nations needed that to be the argument, that this is a struggle between civilizations. It's the Jews against the Muslims. They wanted to make this because by making it that, they could continue to prop up the Iranian regime without getting blowback. The world would support them in propping those guys up, because what everybody was assuming is the Chinese are propping up a Muslim faith, a religion that they believe in. And those Muslims just want freedom from the evil Jews. This is what a lot of people around the world believe, unfortunately. And some of it is, anti-Semitism, right? Some of it's that. But I think most of it is ignorance. And it's not ignorance as far as like knowing things, like knowledge. It's ignorance of the underlying currents that are controlling the elite in our world right now. And it's hard to know what those are. Okay, unless you're a researcher like me and you've got people you're talking to, and you've been in this for a long time, you're not really going to know what's going on in the underworld of things with the traffickers and all this stuff, the corruption, the corrupt politicians. That's just not general public knowledge, right? And so I have that knowledge, which is why I've been right on point on this, which is why I felt comfortable supporting Trump the entire time, because I understood that this had nothing to do with religion at all. This was all about greed from day one. It's all it's been. And everybody involved who's been chasing clicks, it's been greed. That's it. I'm sorry to break it to everybody, but that's why you're here at the Off Ramp. So you can understand, so you can hear at least. Here's the thing that's funny to me. You guys already know this, but I feel like I needed to do this platform so I could get voice to what you already know, many of you. So thank you for the support. And I'm trying to give voice to what you guys know, because it's important that your voices be heard. It's important. And no one out there in the media is going to do it. No one in the social media space is going to do it. It's too scary. It is. Most people don't have the balls. Okay? Because these guys that you're going against, the Chinese, they're no joke. They put a lot of time, effort, and resources in destroying people in the media space here in the United States through blackmail, you name it. They're prolific. Okay? And they put a lot of money into the journalists and the platforms who will push their propaganda. So anyone that was out there pushing the idea that Trump was evil, he's a bad guy on the Iran thing, China looks at that as, hey, we need to get those people money. We need to make sure that platform is inflated and their voices get out louder. And then anyone who was out here saying, no, this is good, is what Trump is doing. The Chinese, they have entire systems embedded in our country with social media and the media where they go after you if you oppose their agenda. Now, the issue with this is the reason why the general public isn't aware of this is because of dark money. Our government has made it so that China and other nations can freely influence every aspect of our society without us able to know. That's right. We are sitting in a situation now where countries like Russia and China can put tens of billions of dollars into the pockets of media and social media people every year to promote their agenda, and none of us are allowed to know that that's what they're doing. It's literally hidden. Our government has put it into law that we are not, as American citizens, we're not allowed to know when China and Russia and other countries are interfering in our elections. We're not allowed to know. That's the law here. And we don't have a single member of Congress out here who has tried to change that, who has tried to bring transparency to the situation. So I hope that President Trump, if you're listening, I hope that you can maybe come up with an executive order to shed some light on all of these social media people and media companies and where are they getting their money from? Where is it coming from? I feel like President Trump and Secretary of the Treasury Bessent could get on this and finally deal with this once and for all. And I believe if they do it now, it will have a massive impact on the midterm elections in November. We will see, as Americans and around the world, we will see who's really playing in our politics, who is really crafting the storylines that are driving the news every day. Who was it that was really paying for the storyline that Trump was trying to create war when he was actually trying to create peace? Who did that? Who was paying for that? Trump has an opportunity to make that happen with an executive order of some kind. Okay, some kind of something to bring transparency to this. And here's why I think an executive order will work, because of this. I don't know if it's possible or not. It might be hard, but I know that the Supreme Court, under the Citizens United case, Justice Kennedy, I believe, in writing the opinion, the majority opinion, he said that the key, that even though they're allowing dark money to come into the political system, he said the way to fix this is Congress has to pass legislation to force transparency on all of this money coming into our system. No one listened to Justice Kennedy on that. No one listened to the opinion of Citizens United in our Congress to bring transparency here. So I don't know if that's enough for President Trump to create some kind of executive order on this. I don't know, because I know executive orders only apply to federal agencies, right? I don't know, but I hope someone can do something to bring some transparency before these November elections, because I promise you, if nothing comes in the form of transparency to find out who's pumping money into our system here in the United States, what's going to happen is we're going to see a record amount of money poured into these elections, and it's going to be pure chaos. It's really going to hurt us as a nation if we don't get a handle on this money coming in and flooding us. So yeah, if you're listening to President Trump, jump on that next. So that's what's going on, guys. Thanks again for supporting. I'm taking a victory lap on this because I've taken a lot of heat. I did not go for the clicks. I went for the truth. I went for what I knew was right. And I knew that what would happen is Trump was going to end up with peace through war. I knew it. And the reason why I knew is because that was the only route to take if you wanted peace. In order to have peace with psychotic, greedy individuals who murder for money, you're going to have to hurt them physically. Those type of people don't just listen to words, okay? They don't listen to agreements. You have to physically hurt them. You guys know what I'm talking about. Everybody has a friend, a family member, basically a bully. What do people say about bullies? When you deal with a bully, the best thing to do is to punch them in the face first. Anytime a bully gets attacked, that's when they're like, oh, crap. We all know this. So, yeah, there was only one route with these guys in Iran, the leadership, and it was to physically hurt them. That it's sad that has to happen on Earth, okay? And I understand that the Pope feels like that no one should ever use physical force. I understand that. But in our world, in this really damaged world, some people have to be hurt, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Now, I don't believe in violence against innocent people. Like the innocent people of Iran, the civilians, I feel so sorry for them. But that leadership, that regime, they deserve physical pain. Sorry. That's how evil they are. That's just what's up. So congratulations, President Trump. This is a victory well deserved. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is one of the greatest things a president has done in a long time. Serious. And he's doing this on the heels of clearing out Maduro. And you know what's going to happen next month in May? He's going to get on to Cuba next. Yeah, that's what's up. Now, everyone's going to be mad. A lot of people are going to be mad about this. But trust me when I tell you, Cuba will be next to see peace and to see prosperity. It's happening. It's happening, guys. You can get mad all you want. It's happening. Just like there's peace in Iran right now, the Strait of Hormuz is open. The Chinese and everyone else, the Brits have announced that they're coming in to help secure the strait now. Okay? So the Europeans are in. We got peace now. And it was all due to Trump. Congratulations, President Trump. Congratulations. This doesn't mean I support him for everything. I do support him on this. Now, I may not support him on some other things. Like, I wholeheartedly was opposed to him on the Minnesota ICE stuff. 100%. You can look back at what I've written and you can see that I said, hey, Kristi Noem needs to be fired. I was one of the first person to call on her to be fired. I don't agree with that ICE crap at all. I don't agree with any of Trump's immigration policies. I'm 100% opposed to them. Sorry. I'm opposed to a lot of other things too. But on this Iran thing, he was right. Congratulations, President Trump. I think people need to get off your high horses. Those of you who hated Trump, you can still hate him, and still realize he did the right thing here. It's not that hard. So all the Trump haters, go ahead and hate the man, but at least understand that maybe he was lucky, okay? Whatever you want to call it, he got this right. Give him credit. With that said, guys, thank you again. Please, if you appreciate what I'm putting forth and it's helping out and it's giving, I hope it's doing what I hope it's doing, which is it's giving a voice to a large population of people out here who do not have a voice in the media space. I'm talking about the independent people, the people who aren't just jumping in line with the Republicans for every single thing or the Democrats for every single thing. People who want to be independent minded and who have thoughts and ideas that they would like to share and hear publicly, but they're not hearing it. Well, I hope I'm providing that. And if I am, please subscribe, share, and like. I appreciate it all. Love you guys. Have a great day.
Now I'ma put it down like that. I'm leaving, I ain't coming back. You don't like the way I act anyway. You really don't have to react. Don't try to change my mind, in fact. Honey, I've already packed all my stuff. We're no longer kids, let's move on. And you are not my kid, so I'm done. Please don't make me pull my gun. Sorry boy, I can't be the one. You know it, yeah. Nothing lasts forever. You know that a change will make it better. You know that nothing lasts forever. You know that, yeah, a change will make it better. There's no one to blame, you see. Maybe we're not meant to be. There are plenty more fish in the sea anyway. Every day's a different thing, so I'm not into wedding rings. It ain't personal, it's the way I think. Yeah. You